Alright, everybody, it's that time of the week again, Horror Review Sunday, and today we are going over Slumber Party Massacre 2. Let's buzz! This is a fucking insane sequel, and it's not even really a sequel, let's be honest. This has almost nothing to do with the first one. It doesn't even need to be attached to the first one, because it barely is. It's plot synopsis real quick. It's about this girl who was supposedly in the first one. She was the 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl, Courtney, who I thought was really annoying in that one. She was the one that kept, like, fake scaring, like, trying to scare her sister by pretending she was dead on the ground. Lots of fake out scares in that movie. That was one of my big negatives with it. But she is now 4 or 5 years older. She's a senior in high school, and she's got this new group of friends, and they're going to go to one of their parents' new houses, like one of their new condos that's just being built. And when they get there to do their little band practice and have a slumber party, there's a supernatural killer with a guitar drill who's taking them out. And he's supernatural. There is no supernatural shit in the first one. This one takes the more supernatural route. I feel like this would work better as something else, like its own thing. This was originally going to be called Don't Let Go, or then it was going to be called Don't Let Go, Slumber Party Massacre 2, something like that. Just like the first movie, this is also written and directed by a woman. And I think the third one also. So this is probably one of the only franchises in horror that's all directed and written by women. I found that to be very interesting. So let's get into the things I love about this movie. I want to point out first and foremost that this movie has 2 Friday the 13th alumni in it. You got Robin from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. I believe that's her name. Don't actually me in the comments below, but she's the redhead. And she is in Psycho 3 also. She gets killed in the phone booth. And we got the sleeping bag kill girl. I forget her name in Part 7, but she was in Friday the 13th, the New Blood, the Carrie versus Jason. So we got 2 Friday the 13th girls in here that I recognized. We got a Playboy bunny, and this is her first movie. And she doesn't show her tits, and she's a Playboy. She had a no nudity contract, and she's in Slumber Party Massacre 2, a sequel to a film with tons of gratuitous nudity, and this Playboy doesn't want to show her tits. What does she think this was? Like, but we do get to see some boobs in here, so if you're looking for that, you get some. There's not a whole lot. There's like one scene, and you'll see Robin, the girl from Friday the 13th Part 5, you'll see her boobs. And I love the soundtrack to this film. There's not really a score too much to it. Nothing that caught my ear or anything that was like interesting. It's mainly like songs, like they're in the car, there's the radio. Every song in this movie is very memorable, and you just want to sing along. And some of the songs are written for this movie specifically, and they're all very good. They're catchy. You just want to sing along. I like that. Let's buzz. Awesome stuff. Killer, speaking of which, love the killer. I love his getup, the whole punk rocker look. In the guitar drill, one of the most unique weapons in horror history. I would put it up there at number 1 when I think of unique weapons to kill somebody with. An electric guitar where the head of it is just a drill. How that thing functions, how that thing works, I don't know. But I would love it to have, like, on my shelf, like in my horror memorabilia, whatever, like to collect it. If it's even a thing, I doubt it. But that would be awesome to have. That would make me want to learn guitar. That's the only guitar I would ever want to learn how to play, is the electric drill guitar. And yeah, I love the weapon. I love the final chase at the end, where he's chasing them through all the construction and up on the roofs or running across the rooftops. It's kind of intense. There's no real... the movie's not taking itself serious at all, so it's not scary or anything. To be expected. I wasn't expecting it to be like tense or anything. The Blu-ray transfer for this movie is very good. I saw the Amazon Prime HD version, so I'm sure they're using like the Scream Factory Blu-ray. I'm sure that's good. There's a Scream Factory release, and I'm sure it looks good too. But this Blu-ray transfer, this HD quality, looks pretty damn good for an 80s film, because I've seen some shit like Splatter University looks awful. Ugh. And but that's like a very low budget movie. This one had like a few $100,000, whereas Splatter University had like 50,000. So this one had more money to work with, better equipment, better acting too. the acting across the board, I thought was actually okay. Like, nobody stood out. Like, there might have been like moments here and there where I'm like, that's not that good. But for the most part, everything was okay. I thought it was actually fantastic for the type of movie I'm watching. This acting was actually great. And I like the chemistry between all the little girlfriends in here. You know, you got Amy, you got Sheila, and Courtney. I thought all their back and forth, the dialogue was actually somewhat entertaining. I wasn't too bored, but uh, except for like the first third. And yeah, I like the killer's laugh. I like his laugh. Just wrote that down. And yeah, so as for any like negatives, uh, there's not that much gore. I'll point that out very quick. It's easy. It's like not much gore. I love the weapon, but they don't utilize it to do any like unique kills with it. There's not much you could probably do with it, but they just do the same thing over and over and over again. It's like in the gut, in the gut. Somewhat like a slice on the chest a little bit, and it's just like, come on. It's got like 3 horn things on the side that you could like stab him with or do something else with. Maybe he does, and I didn't catch it. But yeah, the kills aren't inventive at all, so that's kind of a bummer. I'm not sure how much the MPAA had to do with it, if there's like a gorier version out there, but there's like little moments of gore, like a severed arm and a severed hand, stuff like that, where like the flesh and tendons are hanging out, but it's just like brief moments of gore. So, not much gore to be seen here. And this movie isn't really a sequel. I kind of touched base on that earlier. It feels forced. Like, it doesn't need to be. Like, this could be its own thing, you know, just a killer guitar drill. Come up with some title about that, like Guitar Drill Killer, something like that, something stupid and cheesy, and it would have worked better. But instead, they lazily try to like connect it to the first one somehow, and they show little bits of footage at the beginning when Courtney's dreaming of her past. And that's another thing, like Courtney as a character, I don't find her very interesting at all. And I don't feel like her character is fully explored. She's just insane throughout. And therefore, when you get to the ending and things are revealed about her, it's like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Like, there's so many dream sequences too, so many like little fake outs. Like, oh, this is a dream. Oh, that's a dream. Oh, this is a dream. It's just, and this movie is very uh anti-sex. Like, the whole story is basically like once she has sex, they're all gonna die, and she has dreams of like her dead sisters saying like, don't go all the way. And then when she's in bed with a guy, Mike, that's when the killer starts like killing everybody. So when she's like having sex, like she's committed in her mind to fucking Mike, that's when everyone gets killed. So playing into that stereotype of the 80s, you know, have sex and you die, very much. That's what this film's all about. You have sex, you die.
Don't go all the way.
And yeah, the first third of the movie, like the first 20 minutes or so, I just wasn't that into. It's not all that interesting. It's just like them practicing music, and then like the music's okay. And like I said, it's kind of, you know, you can sing along to it, but it's just like, come on, get to the point, get to the slumber party, let's get on with it. It's just these characters aren't that amazing. I don't want to spend too much time with them. I mean, this movie's not even that long, but yeah, the first like 15, 20 minutes could have been trimmed some or could have been better, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm just not crazy about the whole story, the whole supernatural killer thing. I like a guy to not be able to teleport everywhere like he does in this film. It's like, why aren't you using it in this situation? You could just kill them right now, but you're not. Why are they even the band? Like, seriously, I don't know. Like, it didn't feel necessary. You never really get to see them perform outside of their garage and in front of their 2 friends. So it's like, why do they have to be a band within this movie? Final thoughts. I liked the movie. I just don't love it. I wanted to love it going in, but there's some cool things here that I mentioned. The killer, very unique. Love the weapon. Love the girls. They're all beautiful. You got some Friday the 13th alumni in here. But the kills department, lacking in gore, lacking in creativity when it comes to the kills. Decent third act final chase. It's definitely fun and insane once you get towards the end and the killer's having his own like dance montage and he's dancing around. It's definitely fun, but it's just not that great in my opinion. So when it comes to the Slumber Party Massacre 2, this is definitely worth a watch. So check it out if you can at Redbox. The hottest chick award will go to Amy, who was a playboy and didn't show her boobs in this movie. What a shame. And the clap award for best scene will go to the Let's Buzz music video / Sheila death scene. Alright, time for the spoiler discussion. I don't have too much to say here. Courtney, we start with her. She's dreaming of the events of part one, and we find out that I guess her sister's dead. Is she or is she not? I don't know. But yeah, this woman looks nothing like that actress in the first movie. This is 5 years later, both in real life and in the movie, I think, because she's like a senior in high school and she was supposed to be like 12 or 13, the other one. I caught this. So her guitar that she plays in her band, in her bedroom, it's in the corner, and then she leaves with just her like school books, like she's Laurie Strode and going outside to meet her friends, and then she's at her friend's house and they're playing, their instruments, and she has that blue guitar that she clearly just left at home. So that was just like a little goof I found within the movie. So anybody else catch that? Just like the killer, her guitar can teleport. This movie has very interesting POV shots. Like, you don't see this too much in film, where whoever's talking, the other person, we get to see their POV of that person talking, and then when the other person's talking, you see that person's POV staring at them. So like the actors are staring into the camera when they're talking. So it's very odd. Who the hell leaves a blow up doll in their bed? So they get to the house. It's brand new. It's like freshly moved into. There's like boxes and whatnot. And someone just left a blow up doll in the bed. And I think that she says, oh, yeah, man, my brother left it there. I guess the brother's just very open about his sexuality and what he's into. Just like, whatever. I don't care who finds it. I'll just put a blanket over it and hopefully no one will look under it. And then there's all kinds of wacky shit in this movie. And man, my nose itches. I keep itching it. I'm noticing it. Yeah. All right, so the main girl, she's clearly insane. She's popping pills and whatnot, and she keeps having these dream sequences. She keeps hallucinating. She hallucinates a hand in her sandwich, and I don't know whose hand that was supposed to be. Maybe it's the killer from part one, but why would that be? Like, that's another thing. Like, if she is traumatized by the events of part one, like she clearly is, that's why she's messed up, because of what she went through for like 15 minutes. Let's be real. At the end of the first movie, that character, Courtney, the little girl, all she saw was one person die, one person's body fall out of the fridge, and then she saw her sister attack the killer and chop his hand off. That fucked her up that bad. I guess if she was 12 or 13, maybe. I guess I could buy it. But if this is connected to that movie, why is this, killer in her mind look like this guy holding a guitar drill? Like, why? Why was she envision this guy looking like him when he looks nothing like the killer who actually traumatized her? That doesn't make sense. See, that's why this doesn't feel like a sequel, because she would be envisioning that guy from the first one as the drill guitarist. And then, like, she's hallucinating a chicken jumping out of the fridge. And the way it looks is so weird, and there's like black ooze is coming out of like the head of the chicken out of the fridge, and she just keeps like telling her friends left and right, like, I saw this, I saw that, and it's like, when are you gonna get it that everything you see they don't? So you're just making them think you're insane. Shut up, keep it to yourself. Whatever you think you see next, just keep it to yourself before they lock you in the loony bin. And then the friend, Sally, yeah, from Friday the 13th Part 7, she has this zit on her face, and she's like, oh my god, look, it's like growing. And then it cuts back to her face, and it's just like huge. And then you cuts back again, and it's even bigger, and then it just explodes. And all this like mustard looking ooze is just spraying all over Courtney's face. It is disgusting. Probably one of the most memorable scenes from the movie, besides the Let's Buzz scene. Probably my favorite scene right there. Yeah, definitely my favorite scene. Lots of good songs in here. And TJ's a douche. He's the comedic character, but for the most part, I didn't like him. He has a couple of funny lines, and like they come to the house and they see the girls do the what every guy thinks they do at a slumber party. They do the whole like, let's get each other wet with champagne, and then we gotta take our clothes off because they're wet, and then they start like throwing like pillow feathers at each other, and they're hitting each other with like the pillows and whatnot. That's not what chicks do at slumber parties. That's what guys wish they did. And they're like looking through the window. They're like, oh my god, they actually do this? And he's like, no, we're dead. This is heaven. TJ's just a fucking douche. Like, Courtney's complaining about a headache, and he's like, oh, I'll help you. And he pushes her into the pool. And then she's like telling a story later on, like all upset. And he's like, this is just stupid. It's like, fuck you, TJ. What a douche. Yeah, some people like his character. I don't. did not care for him. I think he was actually the weakest actor of them all. But overall, the acting's decent. And yeah, she just keeps dreaming the killer, and then she's finally about to have sex with Matt, and then here comes the killer, and he just drills him right through the stomach. And it's like like it's clearly the actor's head with like a fake torso, but the torso looks pretty good. I would say the practical effect of that torso and the way they shot that was actually pretty good. It actually looked really awesome. They called the cops immediately, quicker than I thought they would, and it took them 3 hours to get there. And the cops' names are Voorhees and Kruger. And then they're talking about this family. They're like, oh yeah, the Cravens. So we got all kinds of horror references. I love when Sally gets drilled, like she's running away from the killer, and instead of going into the kitchen, she like passes the entrance to it, and she's like, oh fuck, and then she just like gives up at that moment and just lets herself get killed. It's off camera, but we just see like the drill go through the phone on the other side. Then the car won't start, cliche, but then it actually does start, and they drive off, and there's this Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning moment in here, but this is way before that, where the killer pops up in the back seat and drills him right through the chest, through the seat. And then he runs to TJ, and this is a weird shot when he's like chasing TJ and Sheila. It's like a fast forward shot, and then he like slices up his chest with it. And then he's dead, and then the cops think that it's all a prank because they left there earlier after thinking that Sally was dead, but she wasn't. She came back. And TJ like, oh no, you're supposed to be dead. That was another line from TJ that I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, so it's the typical, like, the cops don't believe them now cliche where they call. They're like, no, this is real. We're being attacked. They're like, don't ever call this number again. Don't ever call the cops. Whoever that cop was, I think it was Kruger, needs to be fired because now he's responsible for all these murders. Although, what help could they have been if it takes them 3 hours to get there? And then we get the best scene in the movie. He starts dancing, he starts singing Let's Buzz, and he's like breakdancing everywhere, looking at the camera, breaking the fourth wall. A lot of breaking the fourth wall in this film. Goes upstairs, and Sheila's trying to get inside the bedroom, but just like in the other movie, they have the door barricaded and they just won't let her in for some reason, and he just slowly chases towards her down the hall, stabs her in the gut, like every other kill in this movie. Way to go, Courtney and Amy, you let Sheila die. The only girl in this movie willing to show her boobs, and you let her die. Horrible friends. And they had such great chemistry earlier. Then we get the final chase, and you got that fun, upbeat song playing as he's chasing them through the construction site and chases them up to the roof. And then Amy, she's hanging on the ledge, and then he like swipes at her. She falls to her death. Blah, lame death. And then chases the other girl up, and then she blowtorches his ass right after he says, come on, babe, light my fire. And she's like, will do. Takes the torch, lights him on fire, clearly fake, and then it's like CGI or like, I don't know, some green screen. It looks like he's standing behind the fire, like just like fire in front of him, the way they shot it. And then you see this stunt double or whatever just jump, like crazy stunt. All guy completely on fire, falling down from the roof, and then she wakes up, and she's in bed with Matt, I think. And then she starts like making out with him. She's happy that it's all over. It never happened. And then boom, she's making out with the killer. And then boom, the whole fucking movie never really happened because she's insane. She's in some psycho insane asylum / dollhouse looking thing. I don't know. Like it's weird the way the room is shaped. And then all of a sudden this drill goes through the floor. He's still attacking her constantly. Like real world, whatever world, makes no sense. I don't know. Like, what this ending is trying to suggest is, like, what? She's hallucinating that, and then the whole dream, like, everything we saw never happened. She never had any of this shit happen. There was no band, nothing. Just a weird ending. I wasn't crazy about the ending. It's just, it feels like one of those dumb endings that's supposed to be, like, shocking, and it's there just for shock value. Like, oh my gosh, a twist! It never happened! And it's just pathetic. I don't know. It doesn't really pack a punch. It's not like, oh my god, that's so interesting, like, so, like, mind-blowing that it was all a dream. It's like, no, she was insane. She kept dreaming throughout the whole fucking movie, so of course it was all a dream. Lackluster, very end movie, but I like the final chase. I like the ending until the actual end. I could, like, if I had my own, like, cut of this movie, I would just have it end with her looking at her friend on the gurney or whatever. Right before she starts laughing and it turns into this dream and then that dream. So yeah, okay movie. I had a good time. Love the killer. Awesome stuff. The Mr. Had Award for Best Kill will go to Matt, the boyfriend who gets drilled right through the chest. And the Mr. Twig Award for Lamest Kill will go to Amy, the hottest chick in this movie, who just falls to her death. Lame. Those are my thoughts on this movie. What did you think about this movie? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Do you like it more than part 1? Is part 3 any better? I haven't heard that it's better. I've heard this is actually the best one. So put your thoughts of the franchise in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen, you can hit this like button, join my Patreon to request movie reviews, and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.